Hi, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery in Indianapolis, Indiana.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Southgate, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
Hey guys, we've loved answering all of your questions so far. If you'd like to hear your question on the podcast, please send them to us on Instagram at Wheel Talk Podcast or by email to wheeltalkpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks.
Okay. Did we do it?
I mean, I did mine 5 seconds after. Yeah. We're live!
We're live!
By the way, there will be a few of those in the best of. It's coming.
Are there?
I put a couple of them in there, but I need to listen to some other ones because I think it would be hilarious to have a bunch of them in there.
Okay, I'll start intermixing them. It will be funny.
Or you could just do it at the beginning or whenever. It's just, they're going to be funny. So.
Okay, right when we were starting to sign on, Ryan was talking about he needs to get a new fucking computer, and Becca agreed.
Yes.
But I was telling him that in August, Apple always does, because we know he's going to get an Apple computer. That's why he's waited this long. Apple always does the student deal. It's either in August or September, and you get a computer, and then you also get Beats headphones for free. And so you can get the headphones and then sell them.
Oh. Yeah, I don't really need more Beats headphones. I got these Beats headphones with my phone when I bought it through Visible. When I got they're like the Solo Pro or something. They're actually active noise canceling or something, but
yeah, so you can get like headphones and then sell them, or there might be like a money off, but I would get the headphones and sell them personally, or you could give them to your best friend, and
yeah, I'll find somebody else to give those to.
somebody who gives you life advice about computers,
and other stuff.
Oh, can I just say that my Apple headphones are covered in clay, and every time I see them, I'm like, oh, these $100 headphones.
Which ones are you talking about? The noise canceling, the AirPods?
Yeah, they're completely shot now. I don't even think
my AirPods, like, they're like V2 or V1 or something. Like, I think they're V2 technically, but yeah, they're on their last life here. I'm on a meeting for like an hour, and they're like beeping at like 30 minutes in or 45 minutes in. Like, they do not hold a charge more than an hour now.
It's like, oh, I should, like, all of me is like, oh, I should just get some cheap headphones, but then I'm like, but I've already ruined these. So, like, why
are they ruined because of clay or? Okay.
Yes.
But does it affect the function much, or they're just dirty?
It's kind of fuzzy. They're kind of fuzzy, but I did get the Apple Care, so I'm wondering if I could take them in and be like, these are fuzzy, and they, like, go in and out a little bit sometimes, which I heard can be an issue, but I don't know. Like, I could clean them up real good so they looked like they were clean. Mm-hmm. You know, it's clay. It's not like it's like inside.
And you paid for the Apple Care, so hey, it's within
which I don't know why I did that, but
yeah,
I would have never normally done that. But I think that was the reason. I was like, oh, I'm gonna drop one of these in a bucket.
Well, I think they are waterproof though, so.
Yeah, but are they water clay proof?
I don't know.
That's the question.
I don't know. Yeah, probably not slop waterproof. I don't know. Getting clay in
probably
there
not slip proof.
Getting pretty nasty.
How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing all right. It's been a good week. I am done with work for the week because I have my art show this weekend in Berea. So
Yay!
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I get set up Thursday, and then the show is actually Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yay!
And then, we had Monday off for the Independence Day holiday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, hey, I can handle a 2-day work week. That's awesome.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I get to see you this weekend because I'm coming down to hang out.
Yeah, woohoo. You're gonna help me sell in the booth.
Yeah. Or not sell. I was like, I told Rebecca, it was you. I was like, yay, we can see why my stuff never sold in Washington.
Yeah, you were like excited about a Midwest show, and I'm like, it just seems like it'll be like a regular show. But you said some of the people appreciate the medium differently, so that's what you're kind of seeing.
Yeah, that's what I want to see is like the people there and how they interact with the artists and how they like how many people are there and how like if they're actually going in and stuff like that. So
plus I'm curious with you walking around as a potter, talking to other potters, like what your sense of they are, how they are, talking about their work and
My
stuff.
My favorite thing ever is walking into a booth and a potter not knowing that I'm a potter, and then me telling them that I'm a potter, and then them thinking that I'm a shitty potter. That's my favorite interaction.
Is it just you just give barely any kind of insight?
Yes.
Like normally the potter thing is you pick stuff up and you look at it, and then I ask something like, how did you fire this? Or something like that.
I feel like that's
a giveaway that you're a potter.
Yes.
Because nobody's asking about your glazes.
Yeah, you have to ask something like super intricate or something. No, I don't know.
What clay body is this? Is this a Mudworks clay body?
Is this a cone 6 clay body or a cone 10?
And they're like, if you're experienced enough, you would know that and you wouldn't have to ask. So you must be a shitty potter.
You know what? You know what would be the funniest thing ever is if you knew that it was underfired, if you just licked the bottom and be like, did you know that this isn't vitrified?
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't know if you want to do that, but maybe.
I would never do that. That's so mean.
Yeah, that'd be terrible. And then they'd be like, what's vitrified? Or be like, ooh, no. No.
Oh, honey. Oh, honey, no.
She'd be like, here's a Wheel Talk sticker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I should bring some Wheel Talk stickers.
By the way, I'm almost out of Wheel Talk stickers. I think I've got like 15 left, so.
I'm almost out too, I think.
Man,
so we need to buy some more.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So that's my week and day. I was in the studio earlier, putting some handles on mugs, so yep. Pretty much it. Packing my car, getting ready to go.
Yay! Gonna make some money.
Yeah, I want to guess. I'm gonna put it out here before we have it to see what I think I'm gonna sell.
You're gonna jinx it. You're gonna fucking jinx it.
I shouldn't say?
I don't know. Go ahead.
I feel like
this.
I feel like
it's gonna come out after anyway.
I know. That's why I'm saying it right now, because it'll be like, am I good at expecting? It's first time show doing this. I'm gonna say at least 3,000, but I'm gonna say more close to like 3,500 for the weekend.
Oh, you are. Ooh, love it.
So we'll see.
Love it. Love the confidence. I love that for you.
Yeah. All right. What about you?
Awesome.
What's new?
I have not much to say. I worked on the 4th of July, and then and then it was a empty studio on Monday because we the work celebrated the holiday, and then threw a bunch yesterday.
So the whole studio was empty, or you actually did go in there and it was
I
empty?
went.
Yeah.
I went, and me and Ryan were the only ones in there. Oh, but you know what? What's fun is that we had a grilled cheese.
I saw that.
We had grilled cheese
fancy.
Tuesday.
Is that just like an Instagram thing where you have the grilled cheese vertically and you like stretch it to see the cheese come apart? That looks like a video thing. Like nobody naturally does that.
No, that was natural.
That's bullshit.
No, it fucking was.
Nobody does that unless you're doing it in front of a camera.
It works though. I make a fucking bomb-ass grilled cheese. Don't come
That
at
sounds
me.
good. I saw you buttering those and stuff. Do y'all have a skillet in there? Or were you putting them in the toaster oven?
We have a panini press.
Oh, a press,
and
okay.
we also got an air fryer. So here's the secret to this grilled cheese. Are you ready? You're going to love this.
I never make grilled cheeses, but they sound good.
But you should. Okay, so you put butter on both sides or mayonnaise.
What about country crock?
Either one. You and your fucking country crock. You need to go to fucking hell.
Wait. So both sides on both slices?
Yes.
Okay, not just on the outside. Okay.
Not just on the outside. Both sides and both slices. And then on one slice, you do crushed garlic.
Crushed garlic.
Okay, so
all right.
Garlic. Out of,
like
minced
the garlic.
That you get, yeah, like minced garlic.
Okay.
Minced garlic, and then the boar's head chipotle sauce.
The stuff that I told you about?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that stuff.
Spicy
like
chipotle,
mayo.
yeah.
And put that on, and then 2 pieces of cheddar, 1 piece of Swiss.
Is it cheddar Swiss cheddar? Cheddar Swiss.
It's 2 pieces of cheddar down, side by side, so it covers the whole bread, and then the Swiss kind of like intermingles. You could do double Swiss too, but I mean we're feeding 8 people.
Okay. So, yeah, that cheese has got to go a long way. I like Swiss.
Yeah.
I like provolone too. How would provolone be in there?
Provolone. If you did provolone, I would totally put some pepperoni in it too.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah. So it turned out really good. And then the kids that wanted, or not the kids, the employees that wanted spicy, I put pepper jack and cheddar in.
I've never been a big pepper jack fan, but I haven't really eaten that much of it.
It was funny because I was joking that we were the poor man's East Fork.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, I saw y'all like buttering them up, but I didn't see the press, so I was like, how are they cooking that? Because I knew you had the toaster oven, but I was like, can you make a grilled cheese in a toaster oven?
If you have more than one employee in your office, you should get a panini press. That thing is the shit. Oh, man. It is so nice.
That does sound good. We don't even really get loaves of bread anymore, though. We just get everything bagels, and I have my sandwiches with everything bagels, which is like turkey. I do the turkey with spicy mayo and like pepperoni almost every day.
Yeah. Your sandwich is good. Your lunch sandwich
Cajun turkey, boar's head.
On point.
Or today I did the spicy mayo. I had like cracked pepper turkey and then some bacon that I had left over from Sunday.
Nice. Oh, and then today I threw 150 pieces.
Nice. Wasn't your average like 120 back in the when you first?
Yeah.
You upped it to 150-ish, or is that like a stretch goal?
No, my average now is like 100. But I made $486 today off of those 150 pieces.
Nice. Were those? I'm guessing those weren't small pieces.
No. Not small pieces. 100 mugs.
Sweet. Does that mean you put the handles on the... When you throw the mugs, are you putting the handles on, or is somebody else doing that?
I eventually put the handles on because I usually do it when I'm on... Like, sometimes... Either me or Allie will put the handles on when we do trimming.
So the handles are an hourly thing? They're not a per piece thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hourly, yeah. Yep.
Cool.
I believe so. Cool. Okay. Should we do our questions or do the review?
Let me do the review first, because this review came from Ann Jewett, which was actually our first patron on Patreon. So if you haven't heard about that, we have a Patreon now. We have stuff coming there soon.
But you should support us anyway. Or if you don't want to, that's fine.
Yeah, they start at $3 and they go up to $25. So $3, $5, $10, and $25. We got a few people from $3 to the $10. We don't have any 25s yet. We don't have any Soldners yet. Soldner wheel.
No Soldners.
Level, but we have some Brent CXCs and some VL Whispers or Shimpo VL Whispers and some Aspires on there. So
yeah,
we appreciate it. I think we're up to
like we do. Very much.
8 or so, maybe 7 or 8.
I think it's 8, which is so exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. We get an email every time, and then I get like a notification. So it's like, ooh, little excitement. Yeah. So this one is from Anne, which was our first patron that we had, and it's titled "Honest Real Life Pottery Advice." I really like Wheel Talk podcast. I'm restarting my ceramic artistic endeavor. Becca and Ryan chat about all ins and outs of having a pottery business. They go over everything, their mistakes, why they learned how they make ceramics, and how they live. It feels like I'm eavesdropping and learning so much. I feel like there's some typos. Eavesdropping and learning so much. I also really enjoy how many questions they answer from people listening. Sometimes they go in the weeds about topics, but I always learn something. Please keep making more podcasts.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks, Ann.
Thank you, Ann. Yay. Okay, and then we have a 2-part question, short answer question, because it's
Did you want to, before we go on, did you want to say anything about the work that you're doing now for the best of? For people that, it's already going to be out by the time they hear this, but for the work that you have to put in to do this.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
So she's already edited like, I don't know, 5 episodes so far. And we've already got like 45 minutes or something. Like, there's a lot of content in here. So look forward to these best of. It's not going to be a one-shot best of that's like
we're gonna
6
release
hours
them
long.
on Wednesdays.
Yeah,
So it's like an additional episode.
Yes, so it's going to be a good series of best ofs. And Becca's a rock star for doing all this.
Yeah, sure. Sure. Okay, so we have a 2-part question from Panina Shoshan Pottery. Did I say that right?
Yep, that's good.
Okay, cool. So Ryan, I'm going to say both of them, and then we'll answer them. Ryan, if you had to spend an hour decorating one pot, what techniques would you try out? And then Becca, if you had to make a pot that was for some obscure specific use, what would it be? So, Ryan, if you had to spend an hour decorating one pot, what technique?
Yeah, if I was going with decorating, I would probably go the route of trying to do like a, multiple underglaze colors like ombre or something like that with my sgraffito. And I would try to do something like I see you doing your faded colors with yours, and I'm like, that looks cool, but I'm never going to do that because it's like so much work to get that right. And I got to do it on like a whole mug body all the way around or something like that. I think I would try something like that. Or, I mean, I could always do that on like newsprint, kind of how people do like the slip that you put on newsprint. You draw it out, you paint it on there, and then you transfer it to the pot, and then you peel it off.
That'd be cool.
Something like that, maybe. And then do the carving through it and get a little bit experimental. So that's probably what I would spend more time doing.
Yeah. Okay. If I had to make a pot that was for some obscure specific use, what would it be? I'm going to say... Jesus, hard. This is fucking hard. That's weird because, like, I don't know what obscure specific use it would be.
It sounds like it only has one function. Like a French butter keeper is what comes to mind, for instance, or like a yarn bowl. Like, it's very specific.
Well, we all know that's never gonna happen.
It's very specific, and it's not like used for anything else.
Yeah. I think I'd Okay. I'm gonna say the thing that keeps coming up to my mind is like making a wall pocket, but like for the bathroom. So like you can hold your things like a toothbrush and like your toothpaste, on the bathroom wall. I don't know why that keeps coming to my head. Or like a garlic grater, because I really loved making those, actually.
Yeah. I think the wall pocket's kind of interesting because people's kitchens or bathroom sinks can get cluttered, and like you might not have a lot of sink space, and you might be doing stuff, and like we knock our like electric toothbrush like off this. I mean, the head of the toothbrush is not on there while it's sitting on the sink, but like you'll inevitably like knock them over and fall off. So like a wall pocket would be kind of nice.
Yeah.
But I mean, we keep most of our stuff in the medicine cabinet. But yeah, I could see where that would be cool. Or you could have, it could be the right space for like a bottle of soap or something. Like you could put the bottle, like if you have a bottle that is like Bath and Body Works bottle that you don't want out, and like you just put it in there and it fits nicely and it's like covered up, so you kind of see the glaze of the piece, but you can still like
I like anything off of a counter, essentially. If it can be off the counter, I like it. So that's what I'd probably make.
Nice.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
So, we've got a topic for today, and this has been a long-standing question that we have not answered. I don't know if we've avoided it, or if it's just such a big topic we've just been reluctant to get into it, but it's about selling online. The question came from Narwhal and Crow, and it asks, have you guys done an episode on pros and cons of Etsy, Shopify versus building an e-commerce website? I feel like Ryan has spoken about Weebly being a good site, or Becca talking about Squeebly, but I'm having trouble remembering or finding the episode. If you haven't done a comparison, I hear a lot of talk around Shopify versus Etsy and one being better than the other if one makes over $10,000 a year.
Right.
So, that's the question. It'll kind of be like a pros and cons of selling online and how to... In my mind, it'll be like how to decide which avenue you should go with. And I can kind of talk to why I use the tools I use, and you can talk to what you've used and why. And
Mm-hmm.
So, do we start with like what we've used and what we use now? Is that a good place? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only got one, so...
Yeah, you're an Etsy boy.
I'm an Etsy
boy.
Yep.
And I am a Squeebly. Right now, I've had Square. No, not Square. Squeebly is Square's Weebly. I should probably clarify this.
You had
and
Square
it's not
before,
the real name,
right?
So I've had, what's the other one that's like...
Squarespace? Have you had Squarespace?
Yes. I had Squarespace first, and then I switched to Weebly through Square. So it's Square's e-commerce
And that's because
site.
you already used Square for a point of sale
Right.
at your shop or whatnot. So you already had some account with Square, and you kind of went that route. Because Square had like a watered down payment interface. And then I don't remember if they bought Weebly, and then they were like, hey, now we have a better website building tool.
I think they did,
It was something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, then it became
at the beginning,
Weebly.
Yeah, because at the beginning, Weebly's customer service was so good. And then it like, now if you try to get customer service, you're like, you have to go through Square. And it's such a pain. So then anyway, that's why we call it Squeebly, because it's Square's Weebly, as opposed to Ryan's regular website, which is Weebly.
Yeah. I want to say your Squeebly is kind of like Weebly Lite, if we're talking about like building tools of like what you can do as an administrator of the site and managing your site, like the layouts you can do and the components you could put on the page. You're very limited using Square with the Weebly added on to it. But I don't have e-commerce on mine, so it might be a little different if I tried to add e-commerce to it at this point.
Right. And so the benefit, well, we'll just like jump right in, right? The benefit of Square's Squeebly, the benefit of Squeebly is, when did we coin that term? It was
Squeebly.
Like, Squeebly! The benefit of Squeebly is that if you are selling online, but you're also selling in person a lot, they're intertwined. So if I have a mug that's...
your inventory is
So
intertwined.
if I have an update...
You can still sell stuff one-off, but if you have inventory...
So like I would put an update up on my website, and it would be like mug 1 through 150, right? And so then if somebody came into my shop and was like, I'm looking for a mug, I could take them back to all of those mugs, pick out number 75, and when I sell it to them, I can go and search through and find number 75 and sell it. So
nobody's going to buy it online, and it's going to track it and all that good stuff. Plus you don't have to ship it, and that's nice.
Yeah, and then also another benefit to that is that if it's online as already for sale to be shipped, you can just send, like if somebody wanted to buy it, you could just send them a Square link, and they could buy it and then pay for shipping, and it would go straight to them.
That's great.
So.
Yeah, having it's like a Square invoice sort of, or it's a just a checkout page with that. Yeah, that's nice because it takes it out of your inventory, but it also like pays you through the same mechanism that you would do at a show.
Right.
And plus, I think Square holds some credibility. Like, people know Square. It's not like another third-party site of... I mean, all of these kind of have their own notoriety nowadays. Like, people know Squarespace, they know Shopify, they know Square, they know Etsy. Yeah. So I feel like if you're doing some oddball
you can do
one, it just kind of like... It has better credibility having the Square on there, I think.
Yeah. You can do the same thing through Etsy, too.
Yeah, I used to back in the day, integrated the Etsy with Square, but I didn't like the whole fee structure because it was weird. I don't know. Maybe they fixed it, but I started selling like one-off pieces at a show, and I still had it integrated, but it would like create an Etsy listing when I check something out. And it charged me like a 20-cent listing fee just to sell something that I had in person. And at that point, I was like, why am I paying all these listing fees? And it was because it was doing that. So I like severed that connection. Maybe they fixed it, but I was like, I'm not doing this to sell it through the Etsy shop. I would only use that to take Etsy inventory and sell it at a show. So if I do that, I just take them offline.
Yeah, because they have like an Etsy card reader.
Yeah. Yeah, they have their own reader as well. So I kind of stopped doing that, but yeah. So you had this Squarespace. Why did you, what was the Squarespace like for you?
So Squarespace Commerce is through, I don't know if it's the same now, but when I was using it, it was through Stripe. And Stripe is a pain in the ass to integrate with. And it's also,
What year was this? When did you have the Squarespace?
I want to say I had it up until like maybe 2018.
Okay.
But I wasn't doing a lot of e-commerce. And so, but yeah, and also Squarespace is it's really hard to do taxes with Squarespace, through Squarespace. Washington's one of those states where you have to get, if they're buying from in-state of Washington, you have to get their county and all the things so that you can pay the county tax. Which is a pain in the royal ass, but it's the way it is. And so, so it was just really hard for the taxes. And I did love that Squarespace, whenever you upgraded or you downgraded, they just gave you your money back. They were like, oh, you don't want the fancy site? You just want to pay $12? Here's $35 that you had overdue, so that was really nice that they were like customer service on that end is really good.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, but so I'm not a huge fan of Squarespace. I wouldn't recommend it for anybody selling. It's not. I don't feel like it's a good e-commerce
Is
site.
It because of the quantity you were selling at, or is it because do you feel like if you were in a different state, like if you're using it now and the way you understand? Well, I mean, you haven't sold a ton online in Indiana yet, but.
Yeah, no, I still wouldn't use it. It's just not geared towards e-commerce. It's geared more towards, I feel like...
The templates and the interface of it?
Yeah, I feel like I could be wrong, but I feel like it's geared towards more like blogs and like doing a podcast and stuff like that. It's not geared towards like selling stuff, like maybe selling a few things, but not selling a ton of things.
Okay.
What I would probably recommend for... if you're planning on selling things online and being serious about selling things online, to do Shopify. I don't have Shopify yet. But I will be dropping Squeebly for Shopify.
And what are the main reasons for that? What's the limitation right now for Squeebly for you?
The limitation and the pain in the assness of it is uploading all of your stuff to do an update. And then... there's no way to say, like, this is a preview of all the things. Nothing's for sale now, but it's a preview. So you have to, like, mark everything as
like $0 or something.
Or zero quantity or, like, sold out or whatever. And then you have to, like, do it all. And I figured out a way to do it really quickly. And, like, the fact that I'm doing it, I'm only doing, like, 30 pieces at a time makes it a lot easier on Squeebly, but... I've just heard that Shopify is really, really good in that regard. And They all have some sort of integrated shipping. Squeebly does it through Shippo. I think that Shopify has their own shipping interface, like within Shopify. There's a lot of apps that you can buy from Shopify that like add things on. Andrew has Shopify and Rebecca has Shopify.
So you've had some experience with it, and people because they sell in large quantities and they're shipping a lot of stuff.
And their taxes aren't impossible. We created a spreadsheet because Andrew's fucking terrible at doing taxes, and so I would do his taxes, and we'd always do it at midnight the day of.
The day that it's due? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and we created a spreadsheet that made it work, but it took a while to create that spreadsheet that made the taxes work. To like separate out the
I feel like that always sounds like
tax and everything like that.
Like any of those third-party ones like Shopify or Squarespace or like Squeebly, that's always a limitation of the what you got to deal with. With the sales tax.
Well, and I think that it's always been such a big thing because I'm aware of what I need to do as far as taxes are concerned. A lot of people, when they open up a store, when they open up a business, they don't know anything about taxes. So that's the last thing they're thinking of.
Yeah, they're like,
and
how
that's
can
the first thing that I
get
think
this
of.
to my customer and get paid and ship it effectively?
Yeah. Yeah, like they haven't spent 7 hours every day for a week trying to fix their QuickBooks.
Yeah.
Because of taxes. Once you do that, everything matters. What about Etsy? What do you think what do you like about Etsy and what do you not like about Etsy, and like how's the shipping?
I really like Etsy. I started using it I think I opened my shop technically in 2016 maybe. Mm-hmm. And I think I've had a little over maybe 1,300 sales or something on there. And I really love it because of the interface. Like the back end admin interface is really good. Adding the listings is easy. The photos, like the categorization, the granularity you can get with your listings, I feel like it's really good. The shipping, never had any issues. I think it's, from what I hear of other things, like having to integrate with these third-party tools, and like you mentioned, the Shippo, the Shopify has their own interface. Like they're all building their own thing, or they kind of outsource it to those third-party, like Shippo. They have expertise in shipping, so like they have their own system and they have their own way of doing it. They have their way of doing taxes and calculating shipping that's done well, and sizing of the boxes. I feel like Etsy does a good job, and as long as you understand how it works, and I just figured out in the last like 6 months or something that when you put your item listing, you put the dimensions of what it's going to be when it's packaged. So think of it like when you wrap it up in bubble wrap or whatever, or the Giami wrap or whatever, like this is the size dimensions it's going to take up, and then these are my best of like recommended package sizes in my account that I have on hand. And then if somebody buys 2 or 3 things, it knows exactly how big that that item is going to be when it's wrapped up, and it knows what fits in what box, and it like almost to a T picks out the right box that the thing will fit in if I have multiple things, and like the weight is on point. If I give a good estimate when I make the listing, it's going to be very accurate. I'm not going to be like overpaying for shipping because I undershot the weight by like 6 ounces or a pound or something. I mean, you do have to be pretty accurate with your numbers like that, with the box size and the weight and stuff, so that you don't get screwed on shipping. But it is like, I feel like it's just a well-rounded machine, And
it's tested and approved.
It's approved. Like there are so many sellers on there. I feel like Etsy has its own weight of notoriety. People know it. It's like they are publicly traded, so like they have to work for shareholders, and like they have to be growing their business and doing better, and that you could say like, oh, they're not looking out for the seller, but they can't be making as many profits if you're not selling on it and people aren't buying from it. So like they want it to inherently do better.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could say they're taking more cut out of your fees. Like they changed fees like a year ago or something, and did the offsite ads and all that kind of thing. So there are some intricacies depending on your situation of if you're selling a ton of stuff or if you're not selling as much stuff. But I feel like the way it's structured and the way the pricing works out, we can talk about pricing in a bit. It just works really well for me at this point because, I mean, I do website development day to day, and I don't want to be building out a really crazy website that's got all this e-commerce stuff on it. Like, I appreciate the ease of Etsy for the administration part.
Yeah.
And the point of sale is on point. Haven't really had any payment issues or anything like that. Yeah, the shipping's easy. I get they have the bulk shipping discounts. I feel like any of those, integrations are going to have that now. Like Shippo's probably got the discount, on shipping if you use them. And
yeah.
Rollo, if you use the label printer, you can check out with them. That's a separate thing, but they have their bulk discounts now too and all that. So, yeah, I feel like that's a good, overarching, top level look at Etsy and why I like it. And I mean, the limitation would probably be, like you said, there's no preview feature, but I feel like their aim is to get something on there that you could buy right now as a customer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it would look kind of weird if they had, I don't know, because I would imagine shops could put a preview up. What's to stop them from putting a preview up of pieces for a week and then do those pieces not get searchable in the algorithm? So when somebody searches for something, they see it in the search results, and maybe they just say, okay, if it's a preview item, we don't show it to anybody unless they go directly to your shop or something like that. I'm sure there's intricacies that Etsy would have to figure out of how they surface those posts or don't surface those items.
I've always seen previews in Instagrams. I've seen Instagram accounts that are literally preview accounts. So,
So they create a separate account and they just post a bunch of photos of pieces that are going to be listed on their Etsy shop?
Yeah. And so people can just scroll through them.
I'm curious how beneficial the previews are. I mean, I feel like it's good for shops that sell out in 5 minutes. You kind of have to have that.
Yeah.
But because it takes some of the guesswork out of it, because you have to be quick and type in item number 53 and go there and buy it immediately because it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what drives the previews, right? Because I mean, I do previews, but the number of people buying my stuff immediately when it goes up, usually I have multiple quantities now that it's not as pressed for time that they have to type in the item number. That was overkill for me when I did the item numbers and stuff. But I still do them on Instagram stories the day before, and it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
But if I had 300 pieces a month, that would get to be overkill.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's, what's interesting is that can you do a batch import on Etsy?
I honestly don't know. Normally when I do my listings, I just copy an old listing that I already made.
Yeah.
And then adjust the specifics that I need to change.
Yeah, so that's why I don't like Etsy. Or I didn't back when I was using it. Is once I started putting up 50 to 60 to 70 to 100 pieces in Squeebly, and I'm sure you can do this in Shopify as well. In Squeebly, you can literally put all of the information in a spreadsheet and then just import it in, and it creates the items, and then all you have to do is add the pictures.
That's great. Can you put those...
Really...
Are those still in technically draft mode? You can do that, right? In Squeebly? You can create them as drafts so nobody can see them?
Right. You can select all of them and place them as hidden. They're hidden until you...
I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a draft in Etsy where you have a piece that's only in draft mode. It's not published and you're not paying for it to list it yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, yeah. And that's that was a really huge thing for me because especially when I was doing 100 mugs, it was like, fuck me. Like, I don't want to. Like, that's a lot. And, like, even putting in all the pictures was so much, and it was so fucking slow. Like, I think it was because I was just overloading, but I just remember just sitting there just waiting.
I kind of found ways to improve that. I mean, I would create all of my drafts or whatever, and if I was copying photos or copying listings, I would do all the copies, and then, go through and, like, open each one in a new tab, and then you go in and you have all your pictures in one folder, and then you just, like, go into the one, you click add, and you click all 5 of them, load it, and then go to the next tab while they upload all 5 of those, and then you upload the photos for the next thing, and then you kind of go through, like, 10 of them, and then go back to the first one, and then it's like, okay, we're good to go, and then you save it as a draft. Like, that's how I would work. Mm-hmm. I mean, now Rachel does most of the Etsy stuff for me, unless it's me, like, going through and fine-tuning the listings. But she'll help me with, like, I'll take all the photos, she will edit the photos, and then normally she will create the listings for me, and I'll just have to double-check some of the specifics just to make sure that everything's right. And then, like, the price and the dimensions and stuff like that. But that's pretty much it. And then I'll save them as drafts. But that was the best way, because I did have the slow thing, because you're waiting, and you can't save it until the photos are uploaded, because they got to show up.
So
and then
dumb.
You've got to tweak the thumbnail if you need to, like, zoom in or zoom out or whatever, so it looks good. But that's what I would do. I would do like 10 of them at a time in different tabs, and then go through.
Do you know what helped me? And I think that Etsy's squares, right? Are the photos squares?
Yeah, they're boxes. Yeah, they're square boxes.
So I just take the pictures as a square on my phone.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because, like, they have, like, I don't know, I'm sure they have this in Android, but in iPhone you can, like, scroll up and then select square as your frame.
Your aspect
ratio. And that helped a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to start doing that. But I take it in my camera, though. I don't do it in my iPhone anymore. Sometimes I do it on my iPhone, but normally I'll do it with the DSLR. And that's going to be, I do it in landscape mode, and then Rachel will crop it to square.
Yeah. Can you do the DSLR in square?
I don't think so, but maybe there's an option. I mean, there's probably an option now in newer DSLRs. I mean, I bought mine like 8 years ago or 10 years ago or something.
Right.
I bought mine in college, so
sure
it was quite a bit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, do you want to talk about, like, pricing? Like, how the pricing structures differ for the different systems?
Well, let's continue. Like, we have to acknowledge the fact that you have a separate website that you pay for, and you pay for Etsy.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
My website is a Weebly website. It is really just information. It's a static site that has a bunch of information on it about me, about my business. It's mostly for people to know about my events, for the most part.
Yeah.
If people have questions about what events I have coming up, or my classes, some people ask about classes or something. Like, I have some stuff about where I teach at and upcoming stuff. And then I do have, like, a blog on there. There's only like 2 blog posts. I'm averaging about 1 blog post a year, so yeah. But it's nice to have, like, how to build a mug shelf. Like, people will comment on that, and I'm like, hey, go to the blog post. I created a blog about it 2 years ago. But yeah, it's mostly just static information. And then, like, contact form. I do get people that contact me through the contact form, maybe like once every 3 weeks or month or something like that. That could be customer inquiries, or it could be like spam kind of stuff where people will just, like, try to sell you something or whatever. But yeah, and then, like, of course, like, mailing list sign up, people can do that too. But I don't remember what I pay for that, but it's reasonable. Should I look up how much I pay for that?
I'm looking it up.
You're looking it up. Okay. It's just the standard, like, basic plan. So if you're looking them up, it doesn't have any e-commerce on it at all.
Oh, motherfucker. They only have just Weebly by Square now.
What?
Hold
Ooh,
on,
so I might
I'm
be
finding it.
grandfathered in.
Holy fucking shit. I don't know what is wrong with me. I'm cussing a lot tonight, and I apologize.
I feel like I paid something like
$12?
it's like $12 a month maybe, but I feel like I paid for the year.
I think that's what it is.
I feel like it was about $150 maybe or $125 or something.
Yeah.
And then I also paid for the domain, I think. So I think I paid for the domain through them. So it was like $125 to $150 a year for mine.
Yeah, I pay $12 for my domain for a year, and I have 2 domains because I have a number in my name, and people either spell it out or they use the number. So.
Oh, so you own the letters? F-I-V-E?
Yeah, I own 5 lines with the number 5 and 5 lines with the F-I-V-E. And it's $30 a month or $26 a month if you pay for the year. So.
Okay. And what plan is that considered?
That's the performance plan.
Performance. And what are the different levels that they have in there?
I'm looking.
Oh, okay.
The premium plan is $72 a month.
Holy shit.
Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, I don't know what it really gives you, actually, honestly. There's a lot of little green check marks next to a lot of stuff.
I mean, I picture the $72 a month is probably, your server's not going to go down when you're doing these heavy orders, and you can handle a big bandwidth of visitors at a time, and there's probably unlimited. You probably get some marketing in there, like email marketing that you can send out through Square, and because there's Square marketing, I think, and then you probably have unlimited listings, and I don't know. There's probably a number of 24/7 support, all that kind of stuff. I don't know, but so you're paying the middle of the road one? Is that the base level e-commerce version?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it doesn't have fancy shipping in it, but I use because Square has its own shipping inside, but I use Shippo, which I prefer, and so that's what. Yeah, I don't know. It's not great. Their regular shipping in Square is not great.
I mean, I feel like they all have they have to have the option to have the integration, because people have their preference of shipping. Plus, you get the bulk discount. I'm sure if you use the Square shipping, it might not be as cheap. I mean, the big draw to those third-party shipping accounts like Shippo or Stamps.com or whatever are that they get the bulk discounts and whatever.
Really, it's the best part. The reason that those exist, the reason that Shippo and the ShipStation exist is if you have an Etsy, if you have a Shopify, if you have an Amazon account, if you have this, they all integrate into one space. So Andrew has Jane, Mercari, Etsy, Shopify. He has 4 different accounts, and they all come into ShipStation, and then he can combine them and then ship them out. So you don't have to go into each one individually. So that's why those exist for that specific reason.
Yeah.
Having one website on Shippo seems to be absolutely ridiculous, but because Square sucks so bad, it makes sense,
And the way that they make their money is at least on Rollo, from what I see, for the label printer, they make their money by charging you per label you make.
Yeah.
So they make 20 cents per label or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get you to use that. So I'm guessing Shippo or ShipStation is the same way. You're paying per label.
Yeah, and they all have the same discount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Etsy pricing is all, I mean, the other negative about Etsy would probably be the price, like the cut that they take by the time you add everything up. It gets kind of confusing, but they do list it all out. Like if you look at your payment account, you can see granularly where the money's going and how much they're getting and how much you're getting. But it's like so many things piled on that it feels like it's a lot. But I mean, if you're just getting started, I feel like you can't beat it.
Perfect.
You can't beat a 20-cent listing cost. Like there's no less of an upfront cost, because if you had to build your own website on Squeebly or Squarespace or Shopify, how many hours do you have to spend to get that thing up and running and look good?
Yeah.
You probably got to spend 40 hours to get the thing running at least, right?
And also, do you remember when Etsy was a thing and Instagram wasn't a thing? So like when Etsy was a thing and Instagram wasn't a thing, it was all about getting seen on Etsy. It is not about that anymore. It's getting seen on Instagram and linking them to your shop. You can even sell, I think you can even sell straight from Instagram right now. But like that's the point now, right? So it doesn't really matter where you're selling as long as it fits your individual needs, because you have that link in bio that people are going to click anyway. So if that's there and it's going to whatever, you're going to get that traffic regardless. It doesn't matter. Like nobody's just searching on the internet pottery, and like finding your website because it's more visible opposed to the Etsy site.
Yeah, I feel like SEO wise, Etsy is going to help you out. SEO, like search engine optimization. People are going to find you going through the Etsy interface, or if they're just searching on Google, they're not going to find your individual pottery website unless they're searching with your name. But
yes,
I don't know. I mean, it depends on buyer habits now. I would think buyers would go to a platform that they understand and they trust. Like if they're looking for something handmade, they might go to Etsy.com and search for handmade blue mug versus going to Google.com and going for handmade blue mug.
Yes.
Because Etsy has the notoriety. They're known as that kind of expert in that space for where to buy handmade. I don't know that you want to go to Google and say handmade blue mug and go to somebody's random artist website and buy from them. Right. I think the credibility of Etsy there actually helps you as a seller, but you also are on a big pool of sellers. But if you're just expecting a random person that doesn't know about you to go to your artist website and buy from you, I feel like that's less likely.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's most people selling anyways. I feel like if you have a good online presence, which you should be building over time, then, your own website is perfectly fine. And you might save money in that aspect. Yeah. But.
So what I would say, and I think you agree with me, but I'm going to let you say what you want to say. But I would say if you are starting out and if you're selling less than 30 pieces a month and you don't have the sell out immediately, Etsy is the way to go. Like Etsy's or eBay. Etsy or eBay is really the way to go. We didn't talk about eBay. We should talk about that.
I'm curious. Facebook added a selling thing on there now too. I wonder what that looks like.
Yeah.
You can add like business selling. I don't know if that's just creating Facebook Marketplace listings or what.
Yeah.
But.
Okay, so anyway, if you're starting out, definitely just get an Etsy. It's like it's cheaper. You don't have to pay a monthly fee. It's
you only pay if you sell something.
It's great. So that makes sense for starting out artists. Now, if you're selling 100 pieces a month, like Pitch Pine Pottery, like Graves Co., like Hammerly Ceramics, like all those people, it makes more sense to have an e-commerce website because you have more control over timing,
the look and feel, the preview aspect,
the look and feel,
the how it looks with your website, and it's like a piece of your whole story in the website. You can also like capture the customers. The one negative about Etsy is you can't like you don't have their emails or anything like that.
Like email sign up.
You have their name and their shipping address and stuff like that, but you don't have their emails. You can't really market to them much past like sending them a coupon code after they bought something. Like you can do that,
right?
But it's still an Etsy coupon code. It's not like it's still up to you to get them to your website if you want to drive them somewhere else after they get their order. Maybe you could still put, business cards and stuff in the box with it to try to get them elsewhere. Maybe you have a discount code that you only, respect in person or on your website. Maybe you have a specific line of work that's only on your website. Maybe that's a way to kind of start getting them off of Etsy. But yeah, what about the 30? What if it was 30 pieces a month? The thing about the early seller is I feel like they're not as consistent about their posting and getting their pieces on a shop because they're still unsure and still figuring out what's in demand and what should be sold
Etsy.
Online. That's where I think Etsy is the way to go. But if you're, what if
I
you were
agree.
building 30 pieces or 50 pieces a month and you were consistently selling them out?
I'd probably get a website.
Yeah. I think the consistency and the ability for you, like, if you're on Etsy, you can just step back for 3 months or take a vacation and, like, you're not paying. I mean, things can completely change and you could just be like, you know what, I just don't have the stock, or I want to start selling at shows, but I'm paying for my e-commerce website. I don't know how easy it is to switch that off. I guess it wouldn't probably be that easy to be like, you know what, these 2 months, I just want to, like, lower my plan to this price.
It's terrible. I'm paying $30 right now for nothing right now.
So, I mean, that racks up $30 a month
and you
for
can't
the whole
just
year,
like
$360. You're paying.
Yeah, like I bought a domain, right? I can't just, if you leave the domain, that's like up for grabs and it's really hard to get it back.
Yeah, you don't want to give that up. You got to pay that at a minimum. Definitely got to keep the domain.
You have to keep the domain. And, it's fucking dumb. It's dumb. Like, part of me just wants to kind of, like, drop it and change everything. Like, I thought about it.
Can you do a Shopify basic plan, like, without the e-commerce? Or do you, like, is the basic of Shopify, like, $30 a month? Or can you pay, like, $12 a month for just, a site with just basic features?
If you were going to just have a site, I would do Squarespace. Or Weebly.
What if you...
I'd probably do Squarespace. But if you weren't going to sell anything, I would do Squarespace because it's like $12 and they're like, that they're going to... their plans start at $29 because it's like specifically for e-commerce.
Right.
Shopify. But yeah...
Well, what if there's potential? I feel like the time sunk into understanding Squarespace and building out something and then the switch over... Like, if you could decide to sell 2 years down the road, like, how much time is it going to be to understand Shopify and then get your thing built and then move everything over, like, content-wise and rebuild it, and then it looks different? I don't know. Maybe that's, like, fine, but I feel like it's better to have a consistency and then just add on to it. But, yeah, that would be a big time suck and, like, cost suck to throw $30 a month to something that you don't know if you're going to start selling immediately.
Right. I have, I know. Maybe I should just dump it.
I wonder how the Weebly selling is, like, I think Rachel from Hill Bippy uses Weebly for her e-commerce, and she still had,
Weebly or Weebly?
She had a Weebly site, and she was using it before Square bought it, so.
Okay.
I wonder if hers is a different interface than yours.
Yeah.
Because if I had all of my building features that I have right now and I added e-commerce to it and it was just like, you can add a shop section now and here's how you configure it, but the limitations are like only in the shop section, like I feel like I would be totally happy with the tools I have. Like, I really like the interface building for my site. I mean, you've seen it, right? So
yeah, I like the Weebly. Like, I was so pissed remember when we like looked at yours and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was.
Like, why is mine suck so hard?
The podcast site is on the Squeebly.
It's like
it's very watered down.
I can't say anything because anything I say is going to be offensive to somebody, so I'm not going to say anything. I was going to compare Weebly to Squeebly to Weebly, but it's just I can't.
It's Weebly
so
Light.
I'm not gonna. It's Weebly Light.
Yeah.
What about Wix? Have you ever tried Wix? I tried Wix and I was like, nope.
No. The only other interface I've kind of worked in is WordPress, which is more like blogging and stuff. So I'm familiar with WordPress, but that's more like static content stuff. You can have some like login, like, hidden like member stuff, private stuff. But yeah, I've had experience with that. And then back in the day when I was in college, I built a couple sites in Joomla, but that's not really e-commerce.
Nobody knows what that is.
So that's
no.
So those are the only. Yeah, I don't have experience with Wix.
I tried to help one of my friends a couple years ago with Wix, and it was like really hard to understand for me. But I don't know if it's because I come from different like sites. Oh, also I want to talk about eBay because I think that eBay is an underused. Is underused.
It's like an untapped option. I mean, that one's similar too, isn't it? It's like a list. It's kind of like a listing fee, and then it's.
I don't even.
But I think you get up to 50 listings for free, from what I remember. A month
or something. I know that there was one really successful potter that uses eBay, and what's cool about that is that you could choose to just you can do it all at once, for like an update. And you could choose to do it at an auction, so if people wanted to bid higher, they could.
That seems a little cringy, though, doesn't it? That seems a little greedy.
Cringy?
Sorry.
Well, you can do a buy it now option.
Doesn't that seem a little greedy? Like wouldn't that just piss you off as a buyer?
Like, I don't know. Okay, so if it was me and I was doing it on eBay, I would pick like the best of the best, like the best two pieces and put them up for an auction and then do all the rest of them.
Okay, that seems a little more reasonable.
That's what I think that sounds like a lot of fun to me. Like it's just more fun.
Maybe I'm just thinking of not the everyday potter that has a huge following and they could put their thing up there, and I can imagine it retails for $175. Okay, or 100. Okay, it retails for like 100. Let's say they're $100 mug club. $100 mug club. They put it up there, and their auction gets up to like $350. Like, doesn't that seem a little like as either like the outsider looking at it like, oh my gosh, somebody paid $350 for that thing that retailed for $100. Maybe I'm just a jealous seller that wishes I could get $350 for a piece, but it just seems a little bit like their stuff is so in demand that it's crazy somebody would spend that on something. But I don't know.
So this is Sublime. The person I was thinking of is Sublime Pottery. And they have a next restock. Their stuff is so cool. Their next restock is July 10th, so it'll be after this is released. But they have a 24-hour auction for the experimental pieces.
Oh, okay. So those are one-offs, and they are going to drop. Like, that's cool. Yeah, it's a subset.
Yeah, I think that's cool. And then the updates page. Let's see. Look.
Are they actually? Do they do the whole thing on eBay?
No, I think that they must do the regular page on their website, and then they must do an auction on eBay.
Okay. So I'm going to shop on sublimepottery.com, and I'm just looking. So it looks like they do have an e-commerce something or another.
Oh my god, her pieces are so amazing. Like, they're phenomenal.
And then there's something at the bottom that says this auction has been stopped. So maybe there's a Go
to restock updates.
Okay. I'm looking down here to see if this is like something else. Okay. Restock updates.
The top 3 cups.
Gotcha. Yep.
Aren't those the shit? That middle one, it's rainbow with splatters, and then it's got like slime green.
Oh yeah, those are cool.
Floating down. She's got the coolest glazes. Anyway, you should follow her. Sublime Pottery.
I've never heard of her, so.
Yeah, Cherico Pottery. Move aside. Step aside. Step aside. She's got the Galaxy mug on lock.
So, yeah, and she's got her preview on the page here. And that's like 30 pieces, it looks like.
Yeah.
And then she...
Oh, that's cool. And so what... Oh, this is... Oh, my God, this is such a great idea. Okay. Now that we're on here, we're just going to take a sidestep. So it says she has her restock, and the letter in the photo description indicates the general pricing. So A is 100, B is 90, C is 80, or plus, so like 80 to 90. D is 70, E 60, and so on and so forth. So like this is 02B Rainbow Serpent, so you know that it's going to be $90 and then it's 15% off. How cool is that? Like she just put it in as a letter. It's so smart.
But why is it 15% off? That's my question.
I don't know. We don't need to know that answer.
But then you got to do the math. You got to be like, okay, it's in the $70 or something like that. 70 to 80.
Yeah, but not all of them are 50% off.
Yeah, 15% off. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the artists are kind of figuring out the whole preview thing and how to get people insights into what they're going to list and not have it be overkill, because like Leanne from Milan Pottery, she used to do previews. You know, she's selling like 200 mugs or something. So she's doing a preview the day or 2 days before, and she's like doing a live video of it on Instagram, and that's how people see their preview. So like that's an option. You could do like a YouTube video. I think maybe John's done something like that, showing some pieces coming out of a kiln. John Schmidt.
Yeah.
Or like
she's actually doing her auctions through Shopify. A lot, like I know she started on eBay, but it looks like this piece will be available through a Shopify auction. So there you go.
Okay.
It's on the website. That's cool. So that's another plus to Shopify. You can do an auction.
There you go.
If you're got experimental pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing about the pricing, I wanted to say the Etsy stuff that I found out last year. So Etsy will send you a $10.99 if you sell more than $20,000 worth. I want to say that's the threshold. Maybe it's $10,000 worth.
It's 10.
10,000.
I think it's 10.
Okay. I sold more than 20, so that's why I was confused.
Oh, okay, Ryan.
Oh.
La-dee-da.
Okay, so she mentioned the 10,000. I mean, the thing is, you still have to report that as sales. So they're just going to send you a $10.99 for it, or whatever the form is. I don't know if it's exactly a $10.99. I think it's something different, but
it's a $10.99.
It's a $10.99C or something. I don't know, but yeah. So the thing is, the number that they report on there is everything that went through their payment system. It doesn't account for any refunds you've given.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't account for canceled orders.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I more often when I was a little messed up with the shipping thing and I didn't calculate it right, it would overcharge for shipping. For the mystery boxes, for instance, it might overcharge for shipping every now and then until I fixed it, and then I would refund them some money. But the number that Etsy gave me at the end of the year made it look like I sold more than I actually did if I were to count the sales that I made looking at my payment account. So that's something you need to be aware of. And if you're going to get granular with it, you can get the spreadsheet of those numbers and look at the refunds and stuff, and you need to list that as an expense on your books when you get to the end of the year, so that you account that as an expense to cancel out some of those sales, because it's going to be a little bit deceiving when you just look at the $10.99 that they send you. It's going to, like, mine said like 28,000 or something like that, but the number I came up with was like 26,000, and I was like, why is it different? And it was because of stuff like that, where I've refunded, I refund $2 in shipping, or I refund a piece because it broke, or they did the order and then they cancel it, or something like that. So that's something to look out for and just keep track of. I mean, you need to be keeping track of your expenses anyways, but so like, the person that I met with for the small business thing a few weeks ago, or tax person was like, yeah, on Etsy you should be getting granular with your expenses. So it's like the listing fees or something, the refunds you're accounting for.
When you say getting granular, what does that mean?
Just get more detail to it. So like I used to go to the Etsy fees and just say, okay, I look at my month, the fees were $150, and I would put Etsy fees as $150. I wasn't getting into, okay, $90 of that $150 was for shipping, and then $10 was for listing fees, and then $10 was for marketing or something like that. That's just getting more granular with it. So I would say go that route so that you can actually break it down into more specifics. And then you can, like, what I would do then is when the shipping comes up, it's an Etsy shipping expense so that I can batch that in with my shipping expenses at the end of the year. So it's like all together.
Yeah.
Because it just gives you more insight into what you're actually making profit wise versus what your expenses are. The profit part is still kind of the same though. You see what you end up selling, and that's, you could see the pluses for the month, and then Etsy's got pretty good granularity on the payment account, so you can see all those numbers, and like they don't try to obfuscate it and hide it.
That's what I like about Square as well.
Yeah.
Square's interface for their accounting is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it always has been, and that's why I've always stuck with them, because they tell you exactly what taxes you need to know. They tell you all the things. It's great.
You mentioned taxes. We haven't talked about one of the glaring benefits of Etsy. What about taxes on Etsy? They take care of all the sales tax. They decide when to collect it, when not to collect it, and they pay it all for you.
Do they really pay it all for you?
Yeah, they do it for you.
You don't have to report it to your state?
No, they do all of it for you.
How? How?
They determine what to be taken, and it's not reported in the money it's not in your payment account. It's like, this amount of money is taxes, because they collect it and then they pay it for you based on your shop. Because they know where the person bought it from. They know when to charge sales tax, when to not charge sales tax based on where you're located, where they're located, because they do the shipping address and stuff like that. So,
but then how do you put that? How do you report that?
I'm not reporting the sales tax because they do the sales tax through Etsy. If they buy it through Etsy, they're going to pay the sales tax for you to the right municipality.
You're telling me that all those years that I sold on Etsy, they were reporting the sales taxes?
Yes.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Look this up.
That's why I hated Etsy. That's why I hated Etsy, was because I was like, why aren't they like giving me the sales taxes? And I was reporting the sales taxes. You're telling me I was double reporting the sales taxes? Motherfucker. I'm gonna fucking kill somebody.
I'm trying to find the summary of. I hear something vibrating. Is that me? That's me. Sorry, Rachel.
Also,
decline.
This is a great moment to tell you that money is really important. That knowing your tax laws, knowing your sales, like knowing how to do the sales tax stuff, knowing about this stuff is super important, and it should not be overlooked. It should be one of your first priorities. Like, had I looked this up on the Google, I would have known this. But I was a young Padawan in the land of selling pottery, and so I didn't. But this is why we want to do all this stuff, so that we can help you guys. But it's really, 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 really important that you are on good terms with the IRS, and that you are like reporting the correct sales and everything like that, because that's, I mean, it's, if you're going to be a business owner, be a business owner. Don't make pots. Don't just make pots. You have to be a business owner.
So here, I'll put the link in the actual description, but so it says, we are currently calculating, collecting, and remitting state sales tax on all orders shipped to the following states in response to new laws passed in these states. We started or will start collecting state sales tax on orders shipped to these states on the dates listed below. So a lot of these started collecting in 2018. I didn't really.
Okay, so it didn't apply to me.
But
okay.
but like Washington, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, Minnesota, and then there's like a big list in 2019, and then there's a big list in 2020. They calculate the sales tax rate. They can vary by location for the shipping address, charges the buyer, and sends the tax owed to the state. So we'll put this in the link, but
pause. Can we talk about the name that we're gonna name the train? My vote is Charles.
Charles. Sir Charles.
Sir Charles.
Charles E. Train.
Charles E. Train. That's an homage. That's like a in MASH, in the season 2, episode 3, is, I believe, it's 5 o'clock Charlie, and they go out and they're like, "Oh, Charles, it looks like you have a code today." And it's like this bomber that they call Charlie, and he comes every day at 5 o'clock. And they're like, Charles, better luck next time. And he tries to bomb this ammo dump every day. It's fantastic. It's my favorite episode. Anyway, that's my vote is Charles. Charles for the train. Please submit your disapproval or approval on our Instagram.
Yeah, a few people replied, but it was...
Oh, your wife's was hilarious.
What was her? Sir Choose a Lot?
Yes, it was so funny. I laughed.
Did you? Or did you just reply lol? Or did you reply with an emoji? There was a laughing face.
In my life... Ryan, I have never in my life typed out the word LOL, okay?
Really?
For reals. I've always thought it sounded stupid, so I've never done it. So instead I just say ha 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 ha. Now,
I'm a very big ha ha as well.
I'm a ha-ha-er. And, but I literally laughed out loud, and I was sitting in my bed and I read it, and I texted her and I was like, I'm still laughing. Like, I think it's hilarious. Maybe because it was morning. I don't know.
It could be.
Sir Choose a Lot.
Sir Choose a Lot.
Sir Choose a Lot.
Or Sir Charles.
Sir Charles. I think we should do Charles.
Okay. All right, I put the link in our chat, but we will put that in there. It's perfect. So essentially, it says all but 7 states are covered.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's. But yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Cool. What else do we have to talk about? Is there anything else to talk about?
Let me read the rest of this question and just see if there's anything I missed. If you haven't done a comparison, I hear a lot of talk around Shopify versus Etsy and one being better than the other. If one makes over $10,000 a year, are there thresholds on Shopify or Squeebly or anything like that?
I don't think so.
No. And the payment structure for yours is a flat fee per month, but are you paying like handling fees, or like are you paying a 3% square fee? Are they taking a fee?
I believe you are.
Okay.
I believe you are paying 3. I think it's 2.7 maybe, but
or 2.7 plus 10 cents per transaction or something like that.
Or something like that. I believe you might be. And they do give you a 1099. Like I've gotten a 1099 every year. Those really do make your life a lot easier, honestly, 1099s.
Yeah.
Because you could just, like, put them in and you're like, here you go, bookkeeper.
Right.
Here you go. But, yeah, I believe that that's the case. And, yeah.
So what does the paying the sales tax thing look when you're doing those sites like the Shopify and stuff? Are you going into each order and jotting down the city that they sold it from? Or are they grouping them and just saying this number of dollars went to this county that was in this city?
In a perfect world.
I don't understand what goes into this because it's just so granular because you don't know where anybody's buying from. It's going to be a super long laundry list. Like, I couldn't even imagine Andrew doing this in Shopify when he's selling, like, I don't know, 50 pieces a week or however many, 100 a week, or I don't know, whatever it is.
Or $400 in a drop, or 400 pieces in a drop. Yeah. So, okay. So here's the way Shopify works. I might get this wrong, but I'm pretty sure I have it right. So, okay, actually, this is how most of them work. So, Shopify is great because it notices where the different counties are from. So, they'll...
And it's all based on the buyer's
county, remember
correct?
Specifically, yeah. So, like, when they buy it, it puts it into a section, and it's like, oh, everybody from Seattle bought this, everybody from Spokane bought this, with this amount, okay, in this...
A dollar quarter. Figure, okay.
Yeah, this amount in this quarter. And so it's like that. Square does the exact same thing, but you kind of have to set it up for it. So Square, well, what Square does is it takes the right amount out, but it doesn't tell you where it's coming from, which is really
takes it out. What do you mean takes it out? It takes it out of the pool of what it's going to pay you?
No, it charges the right amount of taxes. Like, it charges the 6.4% state tax, and then it charges the county tax. But then it doesn't tell you which county it's in. And so...
so, like, batches it together into one sales tax number.
Right. So it batches it together. So it doesn't tell you, and so you have to go in, like... So I had all my Square's sales imported into QuickBooks. And now the way it used to be in Square... is that you could go in and import all of your sales taxes in Square, like when you're going to a show, and you could just click that sales tax, and then everything that you charge that day goes to Monroe County or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Monroe City state tax and state tax. And then it would import into QuickBooks, and if it was the exact same name, spelled the same, everything was the same, it would identify it in QuickBooks, and it would put it into QuickBooks, and then QuickBooks on their end has a tax form at the, they have a tax section, and then it separates everything out in the quarter, and it says this is how much was spent in this county, this is how much was spent in this county. So it's a bit of a, it's a lot of work.
It's crazy. Don't you think there's like a better solution, selling wise?
Yeah.
To not having, like, charging
a fucking flat tax.
Just a flat tax that's national, that's the same everywhere, and then the federal distributes that number based on the state you're in or whatever. Gives that money to the state how they need to.
Yeah, and the fact that you have to pay, like, the way Washington works is so fucking dumb. Like, if you go to a show in Seattle, you have to pay the city to be there. You have to pay the city tax to be there.
And that's like, on top of the state tax. So it's like, I don't know, what's the state tax in Washington? Sales tax?
State tax is 6.4, I think.
6.4.
And then the city tax for Seattle would be like 5.
In addition?
0. Yeah.
So it's like 11%, 11.4%. Yeah. Holy shit.
It's a lot. It might be 10.4, but
that's a lot.
So I think Bellevue's 10.4, but like, yeah, and then what's fucking worse is that you have to get a business license for Seattle
to sell there. It's not Seattle. A state license. It's a city
it's not a state license.
County license.
Yeah, and then at the end of every quarter, you have to go in and say,
Yeah, that discourages you from going anywhere to travel and sell somewhere else. Right. It's like...
And it discourages you to sell online to anybody locally, honestly. And it's, towards the end, there was a lot of, I'm pretty sure this was in Monroe. Because it wouldn't import correctly because it was from the website instead of the actual Square. And so it would import the amount that was taxed, but it wouldn't import where it was from. So I would have to manually go in and put it in the right place, and it'd be like, well, I'm pretty sure that was Monroe. I'm pretty sure that was Monroe. Pretty sure that was Monroe. And I'm like, well, that's the right amount for Bellevue. And you're just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
just
that
make it
is
look like,
crazy.
It's insane.
I couldn't imagine having to go into looking at people's shipping address, finding the city, noting that city, and then you just write it down, and you have a long list of 50 cities, and you got to go find the county, you got to go find the tax.
Oh yeah, they have an app.
The city tax. Oh my gosh, that's gotta be nuts.
They have an app for Washington. I wonder if
I feel like maybe I'm just not as familiar with the other cities and how they do it, but here, I mean, I feel like it's just a little bit different, but it's a total tax. It's like,
yeah, it's a total tax. It's the Washington State Tax app.
Oh my
and
gosh.
So what you can do is that you can, like, if you're in Seattle, you can tap to find the location. So you would tap to find the location, but we'll put in 101 or 119 East Main Street, and then Monroe, and 98272. Okay, so, and then it comes up, and so the tax rate in Monroe is 0.093. And then it doesn't, and the code is 3112. And so you need to know the code.
Oh my gosh.
Because when you submit your taxes at the end of the quarter for your sales taxes, it's easier to find it with the code. So, like, when I would put it into, and then, but here's the kicker, right? King County has like 4 different ones. Snohomish has 3 different ones. So it depends on if the zip code ends in a 94 or a 90 or a 97. And they're all different. And then there's a county tax versus it's fucking insane. Like, and now you know why I know so much about this, is because it's like they make you know it. They make you know it.
That's nuts.
And if you don't, like, I've had friends that were selling stuff, and I was like, "Are you doing your taxes correctly?" And she's like, "Well, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "No.
Here, take this 5-hour business course about taxes in the state of Washington and understand what you want to know, and then just like you'll end up like closing your business because you don't want to deal with this shit."
It's a lot, and now this is like, people are like, "Why do you have a bookkeeper?" That's fucking why I have a bookkeeper.
Jeez.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't anymore, but yeah, it's time consuming,
yeah.
and it's a pain in the ass. So, anyway, don't move to Washington and start a business.
Yeah, ours is.
And if you do, make sure it's stable.
The only additional taxes that I'm paying are like occupational taxes to the city that I live in, because of like I'm doing the business out of my home. That is
right.
So like I pay a percentage of my. I'm trying to remember. I think it's an income. Like a percentage of my income, so it's like an income tax, like a 1% or 2% or something like that. And that's what I pay to the city that I live in. It's not a sales tax thing, but I could have a different sales tax depending on the county I sell in. But for the most part, I'm doing a lot of Campbell County, which is where I live, and there's a bunch of small cities in Campbell County that I sell out of. And then like Ohio could have different ones in like Hamilton County versus like Mason County or whatever the other counties are that I sell in, but they're pretty much all the same number. It's like 7%, and that's pretty much the same. It's not like, an extra 4% on top of 7.
Yeah.
It's not like that. So that's crazy. Hopefully the shows that you sell at least a lot of the shows that I sell at, if I go to them, they'll give you some like form that tells you, here's the sales tax that you need to charge, and here's the county sales tax if you need to add on to it.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, the app really makes it actually quite nice. Like, if your state has, I'm like in fucking Indiana with a Washington State sales tax app. The app did make it really nice because you could just find out. And like I said, if you're at a show and you're in Square and you do it through Square, then it's easy.
Because
Square will even tell you
on-off switches for each one, and you can list as many counties as you want.
Mm-hmm. And Square will even tell you. And I would do that with wholesale too, and just make it a 0% tax, so I knew that it was wholesale and stuff like that. But because you have to import your wholesale sales as well into your into the Department of Revenue at the end of your sales tax. So
that's crazy.
Welcome. Welcome to my life. Well, my past life. It's not my life anymore, thank God. But yeah, I mean, that's why having like a brick and mortar is so nice, but then they make it so hard when you sell online. That's why I put it off for such a long time.
I think it's not caught up to how quickly online and e-commerce is caught up. That there's just not a more efficient way to do it yet. But I mean, e-commerce is not new, but the amount of people using it now for small business and like having to understand all of this as a solo business owner, it just hasn't caught up.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember somebody saying at some point, it was a couple of years ago, they were like, oh yeah, they're going to pass a law that makes you pay taxes on all the other states that you sell online. And I was like, no! I was like, no, we can't do that. Please don't do that. I can't have all of my Washington people and then all of my out-of-state people. No. Because, like, at that point, and last year when I was selling online, I was like, please, hopefully all of these are out-of-state. Like, you would want most of them to be out-of-state.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to pay the taxes. You just have to report it.
The sales tax you're paying. You're paying the income. You're reporting it as income, so you end up paying the income tax, but you don't pay the sales tax on it.
Right.
Yeah. Until they pass that law, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who knows if they'll pass it or not, but yeah. Sorry, that was like a long rant. I'm sure 0 people understood anything that I was saying, and I apologize for that.
I mean, the only other fees that we didn't really talk about, but the Etsy side of things, I mean, some people get scared off of the fees that they charge. I think I want to say I'm trying to remember the percentages. I want to say it's like 12% or 15%, but, or no, sorry. That's the off-site ads thing. I want to say the Etsy fees generally, I want to say it's like 8% or something like that, that they take if you sell something. So you're paying that 20 cents up front to list it, and then when you sell it, I believe they're taking 8% off of that sale.
Wow.
So that's kind of like, generally I think of it like 3% of it is like the credit card fees, which is pretty standard, I would say 3%.
Yeah.
And then 5% is going to Etsy. That's kind of how I see it. But, I mean, the 5%, you're paying for all that back-end admin integration and, like, the shipping and all of that nice stuff that you get. And then, like, the namesake of Etsy and the credibility, I feel like that's what you're paying for with that 5% extra, or 8% total. And then if you do if you sell something through an ad, like an offsite ad, which is a newer thing, it's been around for about a year, I think. If you don't sell more than $10,000 a year, you can opt out of having your pieces shown on offsite ads, which would be like Google, Facebook, Instagram, social media sites and stuff that are outside of the Etsy like interface. And they're going to like surface your things to try to get buyers into Etsy to buy it. And then if they sell it and you're under $10,000 a year in sales and you opt into it and you sell something, I believe they're going to take a total of 15%. So an extra 7%, I believe. I could be totally fucking off here. I'm trying to remember. Maybe it's an extra 20.
Wouldn't it be nice if we actually like looked this shit up before we started an episode? But instead we actually decide what we're going to talk about on an episode 5 minutes before.
All right, here we go. If you made less than $10,000, you'll be charged a 15% fee for an order attributed to offsite ads on the amount you made from your sale before the advertising fee was applied. Okay, so it's an additional 15% on top of the 8%.
Okay.
And then if you made at least $10,000 in sales on Etsy, I believe that's based on the last 12 months or something. Yeah. Revenue on Etsy in the past 365 days, you'll get a discounted fee of 12%. So they'll take a 12%
Oh my God, thank you so much.
Versus a 15% fee. But the thing is, you can't opt out of being in the offsite ads pool. Like, your stuff will be advertised off-site if you sell more than $10,000 worth.
Isn't that a good thing?
I mean, some people see it as a negative because if you do sell something, they're going to take 12% and you can't have any say in, like, I don't want the chance of me selling something that's going to take 12% less off the item.
Oh.
That I get in my pocket,
Yeah.
But if you're a seller that does your updates and stuff, the chance of your items falling into that pool of people that buy it off-site when you're going to sell all of it out in like 5 minutes, I feel like that's a very slim chance.
Yeah.
That they're going to get into that, take some of that money.
Yeah.
Because of how they attribute it and stuff. But yeah, that's another way that you can get some fees that's kind of, a sticky point. I know when they first announced it, a lot of sellers were like, oh, I don't like this, and it's going to negatively impact a lot of people. But, I mean, I've got the offsite ads, and I like it because the people that I've sold to with offsite ads, it's a lot of, like, shot glasses or, like, occasionally it's a mug. But I feel like it's a lot of, like, duplicate items or, like, multiples.
Nice.
Like, people are buying, 4 shot glasses or 8 shot glasses or, like, 2 mugs. I feel like it's rarely just one item that people are buying when they do that. So, in that aspect, like, if it's just a shot glass, it's 12% of a shot glass that I'm making. I mean, I'm making money on the volume of them that I'm selling anyway. So, like, that's where those are kind of worth it for me. So.
I was going to say also add in that on the Hammerly ceramics episode that we did, we talked a lot about Etsy too and why he switched from Etsy to Shopify. So.
Yeah, he talked a little bit about the offsite ads in there too. So.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so if you want to hear more.
If you already have a good audience that knows your stuff, they follow you, you have a good confidence that your stuff's going to sell out, the website route is probably a good way to go. I'd be pretty stressed about doing that out of the gate, going to a website for the first time, because I feel like there are unknowns and like things that happen there that are hard to that you don't want to like fuck up at scale when you're selling like 150 pieces in a update. You don't want to like chance that. But I mean, I've seen people do it successfully where they're like, okay, this is our first Etsy update. We're doing, maybe you test it out. You do like 50 pieces this update here or something, and you try it out so that you're not going to mess it up at scale. And then, you figure out the shipping thing. Is the shipping actually going to be calculated well? Is it not? And I don't really know. How does the shipping stuff... I would guess the Shippo stuff is pretty nice on the Squeebly when you did your update.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Afterwards, you just go... Yeah. Did you just go into Shippo and do it? Or did you go into Squeebly and do the check? I
go into Shippo, and then I print out all of the packing slips, and then I just... all the packing slips that are in one... like, I print out all the packing slips, and I usually know what size box they're going to be in, but I will box everything up and put the packing slip on the outside and figure out which ones were in a 10 by 10, and I'll go through and click all those and then and then batch change them to 10 by 10, and then figure out which ones were 6 by 6, go in, auto batch them to 6 by 6, and then do all the weights and stuff the same, and just print 25 out and no problem.
How do they know when people... the issue comes in when you have multiples, right? I'm guessing when you list the individual items, you're saying this individual item, if it sells, it's going to be in a 5 by 5 box, and it's going to be a pound and 4 ounces.
No, I mean, I don't do that because I do a flat rate $5 shipping.
Oh, okay.
So
okay, I'm curious how they would do it otherwise, but can you specify?
Yeah, like you'd have
those
to pay.
details?
You'd have to pay more. You'd have to pay more for that
to get granular.
Yeah.
So they kind of incentivize you to do what, like free shipping or flat rate shipping?
Flat.
Okay.
I mean, I think you can. You have to like put in the weight and stuff, but it's just like a pain in the ass. And so doing the $5 shipping was just easier for me. But like Val tried the $5 shipping and she hated it. So, it's like
can you do like first class or priority or FedEx?
You can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's like an after the fact. I wonder how that works if somebody doesn't do the flat rate though. Well, that's the thing. You pay more for the granularity, and they mix up, and they're like, okay, you can fit 2 items in this thing, and they kind of get sophistication around it and understand what will fit in this box, and these are the boxes you have available, which is what I do in Etsy. But okay.
Yeah, and I don't have enough patience for that. Like, you have the patience to do that. I do not. I never have, and I never will.
Hey,
like,
you're
100%.
you're a Cubs fan with the bags, so I mean, you're like one bag to rule them all.
One bag.
This is what we got. 2 boxes. All of my stuff is going in 2 different boxes, and that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a flat rate. You know what it's gonna be. Yeah.
I've shipped one order in 2 different boxes because it would be cheaper.
Because I would imagine those interfaces, that's where it gets kind of hazy, where it's kind of tough because, I mean, I would imagine as a person selling, as a person selling, if you're selling like 300 pieces, you don't really care. You probably are fine with boxing each piece individually because it's not worth your time to invest saving the customer $3 on shipping when you've got 300 pieces to ship. You're more like, I'm going to get it to you. You might pay more for shipping because I'm not going to spend the time to batch them and refund you money and figure out the different box and all that stuff. And it's just probably not as easy. I think most people do it.
I think most people batch them up.
Well, I'm saying though, I mean, I don't know, but do they all refund money and stuff and batch? I don't know how many they're batching, but
I don't know. If it's $5 flat rate, then you don't need a refund. Just saying.
Not everybody's doing flat rate. But yeah, those details actually work pretty well in Etsy, I feel like, because each item has their own specifications of how big they are and how much they weigh when they're packaged. So they can know which box it will fit in based on your list of boxes on this side and then your pieces on this side, and they pair them up nicely. And then they know, like, based on the weight, whether it can be done first class or whether it can be done priority or whatever, which is nice. I mean, the only thing that has been I use, and you still do have the option to do, like, FedEx if you want. If it's, like, a big order that has, a lot of weight to it. Mm-hmm. You have that option to change it to FedEx if you need to, which I've done a few times just to save a little bit of money. So.
Yeah. Oh, shipping.
Shipping, online, e-commerce. So are you going to start your newest update in Squeebly still? You're not going to have a Shopify by that time, right?
I'll probably just stay with Squeebly for the rest of my life.
I mean, if you're only doing 30 pieces, it's probably not terrible.
I know. After I said that, I was like, I'm only doing 30 pieces. Like, what's the hard? It's not hard.
And each piece is individual. You're not like, you don't have multiple quantities and of the same thing. And
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably just do it like that, spend an hour doing it, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Copy and paste the description.
Yeah. But as the web developer by day, as much stuff as I can do that I don't have to do all that stuff off the clock, I appreciate. So I'm willing to pay Etsy for that ease. And I mean, it is kind of a, hey, you get used to something and you don't want to change for the sake of stubbornness, as well as just what is the learning curve to figure out this stuff and how much am I going to pay up front that is going to take me like 3 months to build out a site that I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
You pay $30 a month for 3 months and then you can't even list anything until you're 3 months in because it's not to a state that's ready. But that's kind of where I'm like, I don't really want to spend the time mostly, but like the money's also a factor. But
by the way, did you see that your wife texted you?
Yes, she did. She called me at least twice because it actually rang and it's on Do Not Disturb. So
she said, she goes, y'all podcasting right now? And I was like, yep. And she's like, at least I know why Ryan is ignoring me.
At least I know Ryan's not dead.
Is she at work?
Yeah, she's on her way back probably.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we have anything else to talk about.
You're pooped.
I am ready to put the online website things to bed for at least 30 episodes.
Well, I mean, it took us about 100. It took us more than 100 to get here. So, I mean, we've talked a little bit about it here and there with various sellers and business owners that we talked to. But, hey, 100 episodes in, pros and cons of selling on Etsy versus Shopify versus Squeebly versus whatever.
It wasn't that hard. It's kind of like doing your dishes, right? It's like, oh, that pile of dishes in the sink. And then you're like, that wasn't hard.
It wasn't that hard. It literally takes like 15 minutes, or in this case, 2 hours to talk about this. And then, but yeah, I mean, I feel like people are going to like this topic. I feel like it's going to be an attention-grabbing title, and people are going to listen to it to see what we got to say. But,
we'll see.
I mean, you might have scared some people with your tax talk, but...
Thankfully, it's at the end.
But, I mean, you kind of need to know some of that. Don't get stressed about it and, like, avoid selling online or selling at shows in different counties or whatever. But be
now we know
with
if you live in Washington, sell on fucking Etsy because it's going to do it for you.
Would you say that's part of a factor why you moved out of Washington? Or move out of Washington?
Yeah, move out of Washington.
That sounds miserable.
Well, we should get like I know that we say the same thing when we leave, but I feel like we need a little jingle or something and then include Charles and Charles
E. Train.
Charles.
Sir Charles E. Train.
Sir Charles the Train. Yeah, we need like a little I
think we need to update our little intros and outros segments, I feel like.
Or what we could do is just introduce ourselves every episode.
You keep saying that because of that that you're wrong about podcasts you listen to, I think.
Because I like it. It's funny and it's like nice to hear them say it differently every time.
But I like the "and welcome to Wheel Talk" that we have at the beginning of ours. I don't know.
That's true.
I like that part.
We could say "and welcome to Wheel Talk."
But then we would miss out on the "we're live."
We're live. That's true. Decisions. We're at 100 episodes. We've got to change something.
We are. I mean, we should probably re-record our intros and outros.
Yes.
Maybe even change up our little tunes. I don't know.
And then we can say at the beginning, and if you don't like the word fuck off.
I'll let you say that. I will not be saying that. I'm not trying to scare listeners off.
Do you know what? Also, I was listening to, I would never say that.
Huge drop off after 10 seconds of listening.
I know I did just say it.
And then I can't listen to that in public or can't listen to that around my children anymore.
No listening to Wheel Talk podcast while you're washing your dishes. I was saying when I was editing these videos for, the 100th episode, I just want to say how much I appreciate your giggles. We giggle so much on this podcast.
I wonder if it's annoying.
It's not annoying.
I hear it a lot when I was listening back because I'm doing the whole time crunch time segments.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this segment to this second, and there's a lot of my
your
laughs
giggle
in there.
is so cute. It gives me life. It's so cute, and just the way that I don't know.
It sounds awfully loud in some of them, but that's all right.
I have a big loud cackle, so you have a giggle and I have a cackle.
Yes, and now I'm going to be self-conscious whenever I hear them now.
Welcome to Wheel Talk. I'm Cackle, and this is Giggle. And this is Charles. And Sir Charles the Train. And... we're still recording, aren't we?
Yes.
This is what we would normally say.
This is just a little extra.
Yeah, you're getting a little piece of...
This is something that would incentivize you to possibly get on Patreon because we might be having video and audio pre- and post-production.
Yeah. Also, P.S., I made a gluten-free cake that I got at Aldi, and it's pretty good. So I'm just saying.
You made a cake that you got at Aldi, or you bought the cake from Aldi?
It's a box cake, so I made a box cake that I got at Aldi, and I'm not upset about it.
Okay.
So if you're gluten-free and you need cake, Aldi has some.
That was out of fucking left field, but all right.
I was just, can we, we're here. It's 11:47.
I think you're trying to push it to 2 hours somehow, but I don't know.
I'm not. I swear to God. We can go.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll catch you next time. Hopefully. Are you going to say bye or what? All right, bye. This is just going to be me. All right. See y'all. Becca's losing it. All right, bye.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We really appreciate it, and we're having so much fun. If you want to follow us individually on Instagram, you totally can. Ryan's Instagram handle is @RDCeramics, and mine is 5 Lines Pottery. That's the number 5. We would love to hear from you, and don't forget to write us a review on our podcast. We read every single one of them, and we totally appreciate them. They help us out an awful lot, and they also put smiles on our faces. I hope you guys continue to listen, and we love you. Thanks. Bye.